Nalley here, and today I want to share with you how to sit with discomfort, utilizing meditation or meditation techniques in order to help you find peace. And when I say sitting with discomfort, for some of us, if we've tried meditation by sitting on the floor, maybe you're thinking the physical discomfort of sitting on the floor, but I'm talking about more than that. Now, that physical discomfort of sitting in meditation can assist with the sitting with discomfort of emotions as well. But that's not the main point that I'm making today. When I say sitting with discomfort, things that may come up for you in discomfort is maybe you're feeling a lot of anger and you don't know what to do with it. Maybe you're having a food craving, and instead of giving in to the food craving, we're going to sit with that discomfort. Maybe you have an urge to cry, but you don't know how to create that release. So, any emotion that you might be experiencing, from the wide ranges of anger to even physical pain, this technique has been shown over time to help us befriend, is one term, to befriend those emotions, to befriend our pain, so that it's no longer our enemy. So we want to change the emotion, or change the relationship with the emotion, to change the emotion, or change, I'll get it out in a minute, to change the relationship with the pain that we're having, whether that be emotional pain or physical pain. So with that, I also like to talk about what meditation is and what it isn't, because many times I'll say meditation and some people have a relationship with that word. They already think of something particular when they think of meditation. And I want to preface this with, meditation is far more than what you think it is, and it's also far more simpler than what you think it is. Meditation is simply sitting and focusing. So wherever there's an anchor of some kind, and that could be a word, a phrase, a prayer, a problem that you're having. So there's many different techniques. There's many different types of meditation. This is more of a therapeutic approach, so there is no religious connotation. However, it's extremely powerful, and I find that most people that do meditate do have a spiritual nature in which they do meditation, whether it's connection to themselves, their power within, or to something greater than themselves. But meditation, I love this one quote. It's, I pray, to send out. Meditation is when we listen. And it's really essentially us opening up. So, sitting with discomfort, probably the most common way I teach this is when we're talking about food cravings. And then the second one would be anger, and a lot of just having emotions. And maybe you're not sure what that emotion is, but you feel a lot of anxiety, or you feel a lot of disturbance happening within. And we would come into a seat and we allow ourselves to breathe. And as we're breathing, we can start to tune into what thoughts, what words, and we can approach this in many different ways. And we're going to do a meditation here shortly. But what we can do while we're doing this is, again, there's many different ways we can approach it. It can be, I just want to pay attention to what words are going through my mind. But you'll also find that when you're in anger or you're in a craving, there's more going on. So it might be that there's a feeling happening in your body. And especially if you're angry, you want to be able to pinpoint where you're having that feeling of anger. We want to really get to know it so that you understand and know that emotion. And as you get to know that emotion, you gain control over it. that you become understanding of it, and it's no longer the emotion having control over you. Okay, so you can find yourself in a seated position, and I always offer you can sit in a chair or you can sit on the floor. If you are wanting to experiment with sitting on the floor, I recommend sitting on some pillows or blocks to get your bottom up a little bit higher so it lifts the hips, so that the hips and the knees are in line, and you can always sit up against a wall as well. Okay, but if today all a chair is accessible, then utilize a chair. By all means, you can listen to the meditation and gain insight, or you might participate as well. Of course, this is available for replay, so by all means, you can come back to this. So sitting, and just allow your shoulders to drop. If you're having a lot of tension in your shoulders, you might shrug them up and then release them down. And you can do that shrug and release, or tense and release, as much as you need to. We get that stuck tension in the body that needs to be released. And then while we're here, let's just start with 3 deep breaths. So in through the nose, and then open mouth, exhale. Inhale through the nose, and then open mouth, exhale. So letting yourself just come into this moment. Again, if there's a lot of emotions going on, you're going to have a harder time or a little bit longer time trying to get yourself into your body. So feel your body. Maybe you start with feeling your bottom on the chair. And you can even do a little sway side to side. Feel your bottom in the chair. And again, and notice if there's a lot of emotions, if you're struggling feeling the chair, that's okay. That's okay. Just recognize that. And then feel your breath. Inhale. Notice that breath come all the way down to the bottom of our lungs. And as we exhale, see if you can release it. And as you breathe that breath, notice how that breath feels. Maybe it's challenging to breathe. And we're just observing. We are not judging. Just observing. So inhale. Notice how much you can fill up your lungs. And notice how much you can release. Notice where you're carrying tension. Maybe the tension is in the shoulders. Maybe your breath feels really up high. Notice where you feel it. Notice what's available. And again, noticing without judging. And as we sit here for a few moments, just notice any thoughts. Notice if those thoughts are judging. Wishing someone would have done something different. Maybe you feel hurt. Or maybe it's a food craving and you're exploring what you're really craving. Is it you want attention? Do you feel hurt? Do you need comfort? Maybe you're feeling sad and you're craving happiness. Anytime I'm having a food craving, I like to tap in and see, am I really feeling hungry? Is my stomach feel empty? Is my mouth watering? When was the last time I ate? And if I'm not physically hungry, then what am I emotionally hungry for? If you're angry and you're having a hard time focusing on my words, then notice just that. Wow, when I'm really angry, I have a hard time focusing on what other people are saying. Notice any tension that's crept back up in the body, if you're feeling it in the shoulders or back, any physical pain that's going on. And if you are one that your discomfort is a physical pain that you're wanting to make a better relationship with, notice how much you're tensing to try to fight the physical pain. And see if you can open up to it and allow any pain or sensations to flow through you rather than to keep hitting you. Notice if you're putting up a wall, see if you can let it flow through you. Imagine as you breathe it in and you exhale, you're releasing it into the earth to be recycled. You're letting go of what's not serving you. And notice that it's okay if we didn't make any physical progress today. That it's okay if we didn't see a difference. The point of this is to build and strengthen our relationship with knowing ourselves, with knowing the emotions that we're experiencing, with understanding ourselves, and that takes practice. That's why meditation, yoga, any of these are called practices. And just notice what you've become aware of today. Notice, wow, when I'm feeling this feeling, I have this sensation in my body, or my breath does this, or this is what I'm really craving. So notice what it is. And if you didn't notice anything, then congratulate yourself for sitting down and attempting to discover awareness. And when you're ready, you can open back up and come back to. So what we're really trying to explore when we're having pain, whether an emotional pain or physical pain, when we're having discomfort, we're checking in with ourselves to notice what else is going on. How is it really affecting us? If something mental is affecting us physically, if something physically is affecting us mentally, we can start to build and strengthen this relationship as we get to understand ourselves more. So often, if something's making us angry that someone else is doing, this is this quote that our external world is a reflection of our internal world. That if someone is doing something that we don't like, it's a beautiful opportunity to go, why does that aggravate me so much? Instead of getting all angry and putting all your energy and just being mad at that person, to say, why does that anger me so much? Maybe it reminds me of a childhood experience, or maybe it reminds me of something my parents do. And then you can also ask, do I do that? Maybe there's an emotion in you that you recognize in that person that you don't like, and you're having this mirror opportunity to reflect on yourself. What is it that we want other people to do? Are we doing that as well? And we can take the time, anytime these little flags go up, anytime we're having these emotions, they're beautiful opportunities for us to reflect and grow and take these steps down our own self-care, self-development path. Okay. So if you want to know more about this, if you're wanting to explore any of this further, my name's Izzy Nalley. I have a Facebook group that you can join to get more information or to be able to tune in to more of these talks. I have more coming up on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then if you are in my area in Louisville, Kentucky, I am reopening the office in a new space, and I'll have yoga therapy, which is more of this holistic approach where we have meditation as an option, and I always respect each and every person's view. And then I have more of that traditional counseling, consulting, as well as hypnotherapy available for a holistic approach in mind-body therapy. I hope to see you tomorrow as we talk about what is hypnotherapy, what to expect, who is it for, and how does it work. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.